Welcome, friends, to the initial broadcast of Autonomous and Anonymous. I am the autonomous part, but I'm also going to remain anonymous. There's an anonymous part, and he's also going to remain autonomous. We'd like to introduce you to a friend we'd like to meet ourselves, Mr. Mark T. Harris. Mark T. Harris has been an attorney in the Sacramento area for a very long time. He's got a lot of kudos and credentials under his belt. He teaches at the University of California here in Merced. I'm here in Merced right now, hoping just to get a chance to talk to Mr. Harris. Okay? Unfortunately, the school's batting down the hatches these days, and that's understandable. And getting into his office to talk to a man like Mr. Harris is hard to do. I mean, Mr. Harris was an accomplished lawyer in and of itself. And then what he did was he took his camp and put it under the umbrella of another accomplished lawyer, Ben Crump, and formed a dynamic partnership here. I'm a thinker. I don't need my names up in lights. I just come up with ideas. I sit and ponder puzzles. And so I have a challenge for Mr. Crump and Mr. Harris. I'm here in Merced. I'd like to talk to Mr. Harris if I could ever get a chance and present these ideas so he could take these ideas and run. And this is what this presentation is about now. So then, I liked what one of the students said about Professor Harris. He said he makes bold politically charged statements and challenge you to say anything different. But then I realized he isn't interested in pushing his agenda. He wants you to form your own position and be able to think for yourself, which is the best kind of learning available. I respect him. Reading that, I can respect that too, because I've always been one to want to think for myself, and I've always disliked it when others tried to think for me. So I can respect that in him, and I feel that this is the right person to take my idea and run with it. And I hope that all of you that are listening to this idea will encourage this duo to take on this challenge that I'm giving them today. Mr. Harris and his firm, they are the voice for the voiceless. But let me ask you, who is the voiceless? In our opinion, the voiceless is anyone that has been given a public defender. It seems now that what has happened is the judges are not upholding defendants' rights. The prosecution is not investigating cases, and we're going to show you evidence on these things. We're not just going to mindlessly tell you, we're going to show you through the fact. And it seems like the public defenders nowadays have the interest of the state more in heart than their clients, and we have evidence on that too. We have a lawsuit that we'd like for Mr. Harris to take up. Oh, it's a very, very interesting one. It's a diversity of citizenship claim. It's where a person in one state is suing a person in another state. So this diversity of citizenship will be against a man that was living in the state of Montana and is suing characters in the state of Tennessee for a conspiracy to obstruct justice and deny his rights and privileges. And that's going to be a very interesting thing. But what I'm here to challenge Mr. Harris and Mr. Crump to do is sue the United States Attorney General's office. Wow, that is a big order, isn't it? To sue the United States Attorney General's office. Why would I want to ask them to do that? Well, sir, because I believe there's a conflict of interest with the public defender system. Because, as I've already mentioned, it seems that these public defenders are upholding the rights of the state over the right of their clients. This is not acceptable behavior. So, gentlemen, I would like to show you how to accomplish this and how to create a public defender system that is really a voice for the voiceless. Now, as you watch, I'm going to show you something that we've all seen before. However, I've changed a few words. I once called it a modified Declaration of Independence, but I now call it a personal Declaration of Independence. What I did was changed necessary for a people. I said one person and a people. This is one of the most significant changes here. We hold these truths self-evident that all humanity is created equal. Now, I want to point out to everyone listening that this is one of the most important lines in the whole Declaration of Independence. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Mr. Harris, I withdraw my consent. Could you help me withdraw my consent? Because I'm being oppressed, and I can tell you how. Let me continue. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is right the people to alter or to abolish it. The criminal justice system is out of hand, sir, and it needs help. As you can see at the bottom of my modified version of the Declaration of Independence, I did have the native peoples of North America in mind when I wrote it. However, as it can be seen, it is a personal. And what this declaration is about is showing the government that I am a responsible individual to make these decisions for myself. There's a movement called the sovereign citizen movement. It makes the idea of self-governing look bad. I'm here to show you how that if you can show yourself approved, it actually is a good thing, and it shows how responsible you are. They had this thing called the age of consent in most states, and basically it's stating that, hey, this person reaches a certain age, they're so-called responsible. I think it would be better if there was something like the age of responsibility. You see, you have to actually do acts to show that you're responsible enough to have that responsibility. So when Mr. Harris and Mr. Crump sued the United States Attorney General's office for control of the public defender system, they create a 508c faith-based organization, and the faith is that we believe in liberty and justice for all, and we're darn sure going to make sure everyone gets it. That is our belief. How about yours? Therefore, they can use the 508c to create a faith-based organization to put the public defender system under, and then create a training system to specially train these individuals to be the adversaries the Constitution meant them to be. Because when it's your life and your rights on the line, and when you meet the people who had their lives on the line, you'll understand what it's like to have to put your life into someone else's hands and trust them. But then they haven't even bothered to take the opportunity to look at the incident reports or interview witnesses or investigate your case. Who wants this? It isn't like on TV. These gentlemen have the power and the resources to do this, and we should encourage them to do this. And I'm going to explain to you how they can. These are the same gentlemen that got Breonna Taylor's family $12 million when that poor woman had her door broken down and was shot. And they also helped the family of George Floyd. I'm asking to help all the rest of us that have no voice, and that's anyone that does not have a dollar to pay for a high dollar lawyer, because someone might have made something up, and I've got somebody that's not even investigating and looking into the veracity of the claims against me. This needs to change. So we start a faith-based organization that trains the lawyers to do it right, to do the right job, to where we have these guys in every courtroom holding the courts and the prosecution accountable to the Constitution like they should. Now then, I believe that I, myself, am my own faith-based organization. Let me explain. See, I have a belief that I live in a world of cause and effect, and that if I mind the cause, the effect will take care of itself. So, according to my belief, I am not going to go out and harm you because I honestly believe if I harm you, I'm going to bring harm to myself because I live in a world of cause and effect. So yes, I have to work my life to live in a manner to where I live it and prove it, and I'm not just lip service. So then, that puts a level of responsibility on me to show that I'm approved. That means I have to study. I have to put forth effort. I have to show that I am responsible enough to have this responsibility of self-governance, to be my own faith-based organization, to allow the government to have less control in my life because it hasn't served me. Now, what I'm fixing to show you is a document from a Native American church. And note, I am not backing any of these organizations. I'm using these organizations, what they put out, as templates to go by. Now, this here document talks about a Ninth Amendment constitutional rights, and it deals with the Native American church providers. But really, you look at this as a template. And what it shows really is it shows that this is more like a contract. It's a Ninth Amendment contract between you and the government saying, look, these are my rights and these are my responsibilities. I have the right to do this as long as I don't do that. And let me tell you folks that this document here is not a toy. If you write down that this is your right and this is your responsibility, you have to back it up with your actions. That's what this Autonomous and Anonymous is all about. It's about showing yourself approved. And I hope that I can get these individuals to take on this task, because if they do, this whole justice system can change. The whole way we do things will change because people will actually have a challenge. They'll put forth effort to show that, hey, I should be able to do this. Look, I'm capable. But you're going to have to be able to show that you're capable. Look, right here under number 3, the right to provide products, regimes, modalities, services. This is not applicable to everybody. It's to these practitioners or these providers. But note it says, I shall not provide any service that I am not qualified to provide based on my authorization, experience, and education. I shall make no false representations about my authorization. See, this is a contract showing your responsibility. Now then, all we need is the men to wrestle the public defender system and help us institute this system to where we can begin to govern ourselves and take more burden off the representatives and make their lives and their jobs easier, because we can show them that we are able to think for ourselves and make responsible decisions. And you must know that if you know I can make responsible decisions for myself, then you know that I'm never going to do anything that's going to harm any of you. And hopefully that my actions will show that. I'm autonomous and anonymous, and I thank you for your time. Now let me introduce you to some other friends that have no voice, like me, like you, and like all of us, that have a wonderful public defender, and there's no one investigating your case whatsoever. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Thank you for all your efforts in bringing justice into this world and helping to make this world a better place for people to make their own decisions and to think for themselves. Thank you, sir. Namaste.